right, let's do this. Welcome, everybody, back to the Trifecta podcast. It's Braden here with Dez. Unfortunately, we are down a Trifecta. Brandi, will not be with us today. She's having a bit of a week, so we're going to just let her do her thing. But we want to make sure that we had this episode up for you guys. We do have our guest from last week again. Jen is here to go through social media. Part 2, yeah. So again, today we're going to just kind of dive a little bit more into like social media and our thoughts and regrets of things on that. And yeah, let's do our normal little like weekly check-in, see how everybody's doing, and then we'll kind of dive into things. And go.
So my week was fine. I feel like I had something to say and now my mind just went blank. But
you were kind of sick, were you not, Des?
Well, yeah, I was feeling really shitty. I thought I was coming down with a cold, and especially because like on the weekend I had gone to the States with my sister. I had just gone down. We went to like Target and came back up. I literally got like some pumpkin spice stuff and like Halloween stuff and came back up.
I miss Target.
I love Target. But I was in the car all day with her and she was coming down with something. So when I felt shitty, I was like, oh, okay, I was expecting this. I thought I was going to get sick. But today I feel fine. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping I just like pushed it away from me. But yeah, we didn't have much to do this week. I thought I had something to say about it, but I can't remember it at the moment. So I'll pass the torch on to one of you guys.
Go ahead, Jen.
I also have nothing going on. It's mom life. Well, I guess my only new thing is I joined the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's
really
what gym did you join?
The wellness, actually.
The
Wellness Institute, yeah. It's in like Seven Oaks Hospital.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I really like it. Like my parents go. So they also have childcare, so I can go and I can take the kids and I can go work out with my parents, and
that's sweet.
It's like all monitored, like medically monitored and stuff. So if anything was to happen, you're right connected to the hospital. And they have like, I don't know, it's like a gym, like a school gym. It's not like a weightlifting gym, I feel. Like they have like a big court in the middle. People play like tennis and basketball, and then there's like a track, and then there's like around the track, there's the machines. And then
is it kind of like a rec center, almost like the Y?
Kind of.
That's
and then
cool.
They have a pool, a hot tub, a sauna. Like it's just, I'm really excited.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's like I know that the place that I go to for my aquafit class, they're kind of similar to that. It's like a big rec center. There's like a basketball court. There's the pool, kids pool, hot tub, gym. There's also like a reflex center there and stuff. But I think that's really cool that one's like actually like attached to a hospital and like it's like health like monitored, because like a lot of people that I go swimming with in the morning for my aquafit class.
Yeah, there's
sometimes
like
I get nervous.
So yeah, that was my life.
That's awesome. Nothing's exciting for me. The pool just reopened again, so I've been going back to like my aquafit class, which is super fun. They actually added 2 evening classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I've been going every morning plus 2 additional classes in the evenings on Mondays and Wednesdays, which is like awesome. The class on Monday, I was not a fan of like the new instructor, but I'm like trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because it was like her first class, but she was like more of this like elderly lady that you would think would like make crafts and sell her crafts at like a craft show. And she's like, let's do fitness. And I was like, okay. And she literally had us like standing up straight with like our one hand to the side, kind of like just like going for a high five and like running in circles. And I was like, what am I doing right now? Like this is doing nothing other than getting me dizzy. I was just like not having it. So I was like, whatever. But last night's instructor was like super awesome. It was like a really intense workout. Like I actually felt it like in my arms and stuff because we did some well work and stuff. And even this went to my class, and I'm like, it was a deep water class, so I was just in the deep end. So there's like, you're having to use your arms more and stuff. And so I'm like trying to move myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my arms hurt so much right now. This sucks. But I was like, no, like that's good, because like like I was like saying earlier, before we get started, so like on Monday I weighed myself, and I weighed myself today just because I was like, oh, why not? And I've lost 4 pounds since Monday.
Wow.
And,
that's amazing.
Thank you. So on Monday I had like I like took a picture like after like the swim class in like the mirror, like one of those like douchey gym photos that people do. But I was like, I don't normally like post stuff like that because like I'm like super self-conscious, and like I'm like, nobody really needs to see that. But at the same time, recently the guy that played, what's his name? But he played the gay guy on Mean Girls. I can't remember. Damien. He played Damien on Mean Girls.
Okay.
He recently posted that he was like, we need to have more like larger male actors like within the industry, and like started this whole like hashtag big boy summer and stuff to like have people like share their bodies and like not be afraid to like share them. And like I want to share that photo because like I feel like I look decently good in it, and like I feel like comfortable with it. And so I'm like, do I share it? Don't I share it? Do I share it? Don't I share it? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I almost shared. I've like typed up like the post like 3 times, and I'm like, no. I might, just because like I want to like show that like I am like getting more comfortable within like my own skin, and show that like people of all sizes can be like represented. Like I'm not like person that wants to be like yeah, you can be gay, like you don't have to be like this big buff macho guy, as much as I love big macho guys. Give me some Channing Tatum with a side of Ryan Reynolds and I'm happy camper.
Yes.
But like so I just like, I'm like trying to decide whether or not I should or shouldn't. But I'm just like, I'm super excited with like the weight loss that I have had. It's had a total of like less 65 pounds since February. So that's like
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm really excited about it. So it'll all come back when I go on my cruise in December, because let's be real, there's a lot of food in there and it's delicious and it's free. So I don't know, but I'm like,
you're doing awesome. You have worked so hard, and I am so proud of you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well done.
Thanks. I'm excited for you too, Jen. So like, I don't know, just like, I know it can definitely be tough, like going to the gym and stuff. I'm like excited that like you found a place that's comfortable for you, because like that was huge for me. Like I've tried going to the gym so many times and I hate the gym. The only time I ever felt comfortable was going when I went to Good Life, but even then like I stopped going because like just felt super self-conscious and stuff. And so like finding like this space where I feel comfortable around the people that I'm around, and don't care if people are actually like looking at me. Like I literally go and I swim with a t-shirt on because like I don't want people to see. And I'm like, people can still see like the size of your body, like you know, like even though you're wearing the t-shirt's on, they can still see it. And so like I'm getting closer and closer and closer to actually not wearing the shirt when I go swimming. And so like
that's awesome.
There's like those little steps, and I'm like really like excited for those things, like for myself. But like I'm excited for you as well, because like I'm glad that you found like that like space that you feel comfortable, because it's really going to help you like going forward. So
but really,
empowerment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really happy that it has like kind of like spa qualities, because that's my jam. Like I'm a spa girl. Like saddle me up, pool, hot tub, sauna, steam room. I'm there. I'm all about it. So I sort of feel like those are like the enticing things that like draw me to it. And then it's like, well, I'm here, I might as well work out, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And then the fact that, like I said, my parents go, which is nice. I mean, it's fun to always see my parents, and at least I know somebody that'll go with me and during the day, because they're both retired. And then if I go during the day, then they have childcare. So there's really no excuses not to go.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's do a quick little "What's the word" segment, and then we can like jump into things. So, what's the word? Yeah. We really need to find like a jingle to like insert there for at some point. At the same time, though, I like doing it. I'm like, but yeah, I guess my thing that I kind of wanted to like bring up that's really kind of like in the news currently right now is the whole scenario with Justin Trudeau and these photos that have been leaked about him and the kind of controversy behind them and everything. I have mixed feelings about it because it happened like quite a while ago. Like how like I feel like it's been like over 10 years.
2001.
The one the first one that had been leaked was 2001. He was 29 years old. He was a teacher at the time. Then there was another one that was leaked. He had referred to it when they asked him, was this the only time? He said, when I was in high school, I was at a talent show. I sang Deo and I was in blackface. And now there's a third one that has like a video of him. I think they said it's sometime in the 90s and he's again in blackface, like all like arms, legs, everything. In just like a pair of ripped jeans and a t-shirt. And he's like kind of dancing around, making faces and being ridiculous in blackface. So there's 3 different ones in the span of 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have like very mixed feelings about it. Cause like, I think it's like silly that like these things are like surfacing now. Like obviously these things were like around previously when he like, was running for prime minister and like they didn't come up then and like it's like these weird things and it's like it happened so long ago. People totally grow and change like since then. I personally don't think that they like were racist tendencies like to be maliciously like racist about it. Like I don't know. I have like weird feelings because I know that he doesn't like stand for those kind of things like now. So I feel like people should be taking it with like a little bit of like a grain of salt, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
In regards to like him now present day and like moving forward versus like him
what
then.
he did. Yeah.
I was like even like myself, like I was in a play in high school where I was an Egyptian ambassador. The director painted my skin brown and like there was no like even then like to me it wasn't like us trying to be like racist or anything like that. It was just the fact that like we wanted me to like look the part for the play and yada yada yada.
Yeah, it was the ignorance of the time.
And that's it too, right? Like we were all in high school, like early 2000s, and like I don't know, people just it wasn't as much of a topic as I guess you could say then. Like
the awareness.
People obviously, people talked about racism for sure. I remember like people talking about it and like and whatnot. I don't know. I just like
the awareness about the different ways that people are oppressed and the different ways that you can be racist, even if it's not malicious. People weren't aware of those things. They weren't, they weren't talked and taught about as much. So I have mixed feelings about it as well. But yeah, I don't know, like you said, like the time was different. So like the director had painted you. He was obviously a teacher or some kind of authority figure who should have known better. But in that time, because it wasn't spoke about and stuff like that, it wasn't really something that he would have been aware and thought of when he was trying to make that decision. But at the same time, like when you are in that position, I feel like you need to go above and beyond and think about like, how would the little like Jamaican girl feel seeing a white kid being painted, or a little actual Egyptian child feel seeing that, like being painted like brown skin and stuff, like those kind of things weren't thought of as a teacher, and that bothers me. But I do agree, like, so with Trudeau, like he doesn't seem to stand for those kind of things now, and like you know, his policies don't reflect a racist stance. So there, you do have to consider that, I feel like. But at the same time, as a person who is our prime minister, I think it really highlights the fact that he, at 31 years old, okay, the high school one, I would, you know, be like, okay, you know what? He was in high school. He was a undeveloped brain who was just doing things for shits and giggles.
Like we all done stupid things when we were in high school. Like that's real.
Exactly. Like I'm sure I've said like racist things when I'm not meaning to be maliciously racist or maliciously ignorant in a bunch of different ways. I'm sure if somebody was recording every second of my life that something would come up. So okay, give him a pass on that. Then years later, he's an adult at this point in the 90s, right? So then this other one comes about. Okay, so this is the second time he's now laughing, and like it's all in fun. These are, again, shits and giggles. This is the second time he's done it. So he's I guess got a reaction from the first time where it's left a taste in his mouth that this is hilarious. And in the 90s, still it's not a huge thing that's awareness in society about how this affects people. So, okay, let's give him a pass on that. And even that, I'm like, I don't know, but let's give him a pass on that. But now he's 29 years old. He's a full-grown man, and he's a teacher. And he's a teacher of students who are supposed to look up to him. And he's a teacher of students who are supposed to learn how to be in the world with him. And he's doing it again for what, shits and giggles? Because don't tell me that he's not considering the reaction that he got from the last 2 times he did it. He's out to get a laugh. So that bothers me, because now that is 3 times that you've been ignorant, and you are going based off of the reactions that you're getting in the past, and you're continuing to do it. That bothers me. And it also says to me that as a prime minister, can you really say that you have great abilities to make like important decisions and see the bigger picture and consider everybody? That bothers me. But having said that, Scheer is way more of a threat to me.
Hands down.
Because he has shown that he is ignorant, and he is, these things as well in different ways. But he's also shown that his policies can follow that mindset, and that is a huge threat. That where he has openly said about, not believing in same-sex marriage. So that equal rights when it comes to LGBTQ plus and women's rights with their bodies and stuff like that are not things that he thinks are he doesn't, he's not on their side. So you can't really say you're an ally if you vote for him. No, I don't necessarily want to support Trudeau, but if it's between the two of them, his policies are much less I don't know. He's to me, if I'm going to have to make a choice between those two, if I had to make a choice, he is not the bigger threat. Scheer it.
Yeah. So for me, I guess sort of to what you said, Des, the 3 instances, I kind of didn't know that there was 3. That bothers me. Obviously, it's been more than once. But on the flip side, I find it interesting that there's been 3 instances. And as you said, obviously he thought it was okay. So in those 3 instances, no one's told him, hey, this is kind of a bad thing. You might not want to do that. It's kind of the amount of it means that somewhere he thought it was okay, which is scary. I'm not saying it's not.
It's the privilege of it all. The privilege.
But everybody else, obviously, there's people in the room that saw him. There's people that he was around. I saw the one picture. He's laughing. He's joking. He's with other people. They didn't tell him that that was a problem.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that they didn't, right?
But I'm just, the context of it all being now that there's these 3 times, I don't know. Maybe like nobody told him? How did the school react if he's a professional teacher? You know, did the school give?
I don't even think the school gave a statement when they were asked about it.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, in that moment, how did the school handle it? Did they think that this was a bad thing for a teacher to do? I'd like to know that.
I feel like it was coming more to light that these things had a huge effect on people, but it still wasn't a huge thing, right? I feel like when social media started to take away these kind of subjects became more important and talked about. And that wasn't really until 2007. And this was in 2001. So I do also get that it still wasn't huge. And I wonder what time of year it was too, because that's also like the year of like 9/11, was it not? It was 2001 that picture was from.
Right. Good point.
So I also wonder about that, because if it was post 9/11, then I feel like there's no way that you can't tell me that people didn't say, whoa, like that's a little bit touchy right now. Like, I don't know. I feel like at that point he should have known better. And he said that in his apology, and I get that, but it still does highlight his ability to consider everybody's well-being in a situation and see the whole picture and make a decision based on that. And that sucks for that being our prime minister.
I think that's something that works in his favor, but also hurts him, is how sort of progressive and inclusive he's tried to be. Because now, like, the harder he tries, you know, like he's let in, you know, Syrian refugees. He's very feminist in a sense. He's, you know, pro-choice, you know, all these progressive sort of ideas that he has. Now this picture comes out and it hurts him.
Yeah.
Because
it makes him look like a hypocrite.
You were, you know, this perfect guy who is so progressive. How could you do something like this? You know, and it's like,
but it also can serve to show that people can change, because its policies don't reflect that anymore, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do
appreciate the apology. He apologized like the minute it came out, it felt. There's things that Scheer has said. There's things that Trump has said. And you know what? They don't apologize right away, if at all.
Yeah, like Scheer never apologized for the dog comment. Like
No, so, exactly.
I just wanted to add real quick that the photo came out. It was from spring of 2001, so it was prior to
9/11.
Pre 9/11.
Oh, it's a little bit better, but it's not like it's not better, but it would have been worse.
But like at least
if it was
like,
after. Yeah,
because it was from the yearbook from 2000 to 2001, so it would have been like fall 2000s.
Yeah.
And whatnot, right? So, no,
interesting.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, you know. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. No, I think it's an unfortunate, you know, he's had a couple unfortunate incidents. It can't be ignored. The flip side, though, is I do think that he did do a lot of good things. There's bad things, as with any political figure. It's just, you know, it's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. This post-election time, it's such a dangerous thing to have come to light and now affect the way that things are going to be in October. I really hope that PCs don't get in. Me too. And I hope that everybody is really thinking about how they're going to be voting. I hope that the turnout is better than our provincial turnout was.
Yes.
I hope that.
I saw that. It was pretty bad, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Like 46%?
Yeah. And I hope that people are getting out there, even if it's to cast a no vote, but I'm hoping that they'll either vote for what their actual voice wants to say, or vote strategically. Like, I just vote, man.
What
like,
does maybe no vote even do? Like, so if everybody, like, say if everybody casted like no vote and no vote like one, is that like, do they have to like redo things, or like how does it work? I don't do politics very well.
When I worked the elections, we were taught this is how you do things. So while we have this platform sort of as a good time to address it, but a no vote is basically you show up at the polls, you get the little card with the candidates, you go behind the box, and you can either, what I was told is that you take it back to the official and you just say, I wish to not vote, or there's no good candidates. And that goes into a separate count, and they count how many people have said there is no good candidate for me to vote for, so I'm choosing to vote for nobody. It doesn't necessarily change the outcome or, you know, not stand for anything, but it goes to show how many people are unhappy with the selection of candidates and who is the leader of the party. Because at the end of the day, you're sort of voting for the leader, but in majority, you're voting for the party more so than the leader.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're hoping that by making those no votes, that the parties will see it and then change up what they're offering to the public based on the fact that nobody was their preference.
Yeah. Or, you know, maybe to analyze, hey, like, we handled this incorrectly, or whatever our campaign was, it didn't stick with people. Whatever we said didn't register, those types of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it does matter, people. Get your ass off the couch. Get off of Netflix.
It does matter. And I know people were saying that, oh, well, I don't want to stand in line. You know, there's early polls, there's all sorts of things.
And it's really
like, the last time I went, it literally took me, like, the last time I voted, it literally took like 20 minutes, like not even,
if that.
Like, I feel like I didn't even take, like, I feel like it was less than 15 minutes. I went with my like 1.5-year-old child and a 4-year-old child. They were not bothered. It wasn't a long wait or anything like that. I get that some areas are more busy, but I just feel like, you know what? People in other places die for the right to vote, and we have that right. And yes, I get it. It is frustrating when you feel like you're not actually getting to be heard with what you want, that you're not picking somebody that you actually believe in. But these are the choices you have, and you have the right to make whatever choice, whether it's strategically or just casting your vote as it is, or a no vote. And you have that right. So go exercise it. It's your duty. And not only that, like, you need to participate now. This is what I so strongly believe. You need to participate now and keep informed on this right, because you need to teach the generations after us about it. Because if we haven't changed it, somebody needs to, and the generations after us need to learn about it so that they can know what they want to change. They can make an informed decisions when they become of age, but even before they become of age, that they can actually make informed decisions enough to learn more about it and see what kind of ideas they can come up with to change politics if this is not satisfactory to the public. So I believe in that.
I agree. It's kind of crazy to think that like a lot of the voters now are people that like are at our age and like want to see change in like the world, but like people still don't go out and vote, you know. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I voted the last federal election when I lived back in Winnipeg. There was a provincial election when I was living in Kelowna, but I never got like a ballot or anything to be able to actually go and vote. But I've always kind of been a little bit gray when it comes to politics. Like, I don't really like fully understand it. But like, something about this particular election has me a little bit more like engaged and seeing what's kind of like happening and learning a little bit more about like this particular candidates. So I'm going to try and like be more on it this year. I'm definitely going to go out and vote for sure, because like I want to make sure that I'm doing my part. It's actually really interesting here in BC, like within like on the island, a lot of us are like Green Party. Like we actually just I think for the island, we voted in, his name's like Paul Manley. And I even like looking at like their leader that's running right now. I actually really like a lot of the things that she's trying to like wanting to accomplish, like to have the free post-secondary school like education, I think is huge. It's something I totally wish we had. I like even if it was done the way Australia does it, and I'm pretty sure it's in Australia, someone can like correct me if I'm wrong, but in Australia, even the way it's done is that you can go to post-secondary, they keep track of class that you took, how much they cost, and you don't have to pay them up front. You can pay it after you graduate, because that's a huge thing for people, right? Is they don't have the upfront cost to go to post-secondary. And so like to even like sure, yes, it kind of sucks that you still have to like pay it afterwards, but at least you have that chance to be able to go and not have to worry about the funds right then and there to be able to go get an education. You know, like if and like post-secondary is so expensive. Like it's crazy. Like I went for a year and a half, and it was like $8,000 just for that year and a half. So it's just crazy to me. So I don't know. I like a lot of stuff that the Green Party currently has. So yeah, I don't know, but
politics.
I know it's we can have an entire episode in
I know
just to that. So
I try really hard not to like get into it with people, because a lot of people, their views are their views, and that's not going to change, and that's fine. Just totally, you know, do your research, be informed. Please go out and vote.
Yeah,
that's all 100%. I got to say.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, should we jump into our social media, tech, internet, whatever topic?
Mm-hmm. We can.
So, one of the questions we were kind of mulling over before was, what direction do you guys think that like technology / social media, internet, whatever, is heading?
For me personally, like I don't like internet and tech. Like I think internet and tech are kind of like two separate things. So I think like the internet is like a place for like information and like social media, obviously like social media and stuff. I think it's obviously like it's still going to be a place for those particular things. I'm hoping like social media platforms will maybe be a little bit more like restrictive in regards to like things that they post, and maybe less restrictive in regards to like certain things. Like I hate it when I see that like women have shared like a photo of them breastfeeding, and like Facebook or Instagram's like, nope, you need to take that down. It's like, no, that's 100% a natural thing. It's not that like you're posting like pornography or something, you know what I mean? So like that kind of like those types of things really bother me in regards to like social media and like the internet in general. Tech is like, I think is a totally different thing. So like when I think of tech, I think like computers, AI, and like robots and like where those things are coming. I think that's an entirely different thing. The scientific stuff that they've been doing with like tech in general, like is pretty amazing. Especially in regards to like health things and like surgery and stuff. Like my brother recently had gastric bypass surgery, and it was 100% like uninvasive. Like they cut like 4 different little holes and stuck these rods in, and like did the entire surgery without having to like open him up, you know?
Oh wow.
So like that's to me that's insane that like technology is like that far advanced that you'd be able to do something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think technology is always going to be a super good thing. I personally don't think that there's going to be this like technological uproar where like the robots take over the planet. But, like, I think that's a little far-fetched personally, but like I do see that like how people can have that fear. Like there was that robot, I can't remember what her name is. They had her like walk the red carpet, and she can like wink and stuff. I can't remember what her name is, but like,
my God,
she has like this weird name, but like
I follow
Like,
like
that's
some kind of
cool.
robot or something on Instagram, and they have like poses and like it's so fucked up.
Do you actually? That's
Yeah.
amazing. But I think the internet I think the idea of the internet is like a good thing, to be able to find information and connect with other people. But I think you definitely have to be safe about the information that you're getting and the places that you are being and posting things, because obviously there are negative things. On the internet, a lot of it is fabricated. Like even like Wikipedia, people are like, "Oh, Wikipedia is so great." It's like, well, I can log into Wikipedia right now and like totally edit something. Like it's my favorite thing in the world. I've seen there's a YouTube channel where they get celebrities they're like, I can't remember what it's called. It's like celebrities in real time or something. And like Jennifer Lawrence went in and she like logged into her Wikipedia page and she like changed stuff herself. And like, so like to me, like that's really funny, but at the same time, I could go in and like do that to Jennifer Lawrence.
How fact check, like so. I was just going to say, so like basically in the future, like it's just going to keep getting harder and harder to fact check, because it's going to be harder and harder to find the original source of information and the actual facts and tests and statistics about it, rather than just something somebody has posted and it's been there for a long enough time that people start believing it. That's kind of scary to think about.
Well, that's why even when I like even trying to look up like these different articles in regards to like Trudeau or even Scheer in regards to like certain things, it's like this one website that I'm on, it's like pressprogress.ca, and it's like, I've never heard of this. How can I really truly believe that like this article is fact? Like that's why I'm always like go to like CNN or CTV or Global or something that's actually credited.
And you have to then when you go to those ones too, you also have to consider like their biases as well, because
100%.
it's still like, reporters and journalists and stuff like that. It's just that's a tricky situation with information. But yeah, fact checking going to continue to be an important thing in the future. I can definitely agree with that.
It's kind of funny you said you brought the technology thing up, Braden, and I don't know if anyone's been to like, I forget it was Disneyland or Disney World, but there was always it was sort of a ride. It was called the Carousel of Progress, and it was always this. It started out at like the 1920s and then the 1930s, and like you just sort of like sat on a carousel and all these different like time frames, and then it was this guy. And he was like, "Oh, did you hear this? We got, this ice box and it's a freezer, right?" And then, another decade and he's talking about the microwave. And then another decade he's talking about this and that. And I remember it's, a cutesy little carousel thing. You're just sitting and watching. But I remember being scared. Where are we going in terms of technology? I don't know. It's always scared me, and I don't know what's going to happen. Not that there's going to be like robots taking over and stuff, but I mean,
well, technology and changes all can seem really scary. Like, you can't tell what will be for the better or not, but in the moment when something comes up, it's a scary thing to think of how much things can change with the acceptance of new technology. And I feel like when it comes to social media, internet, and technology, sometimes like I do agree that it is separate, like Braden was saying, but also they meld together in some ways, like with new apps and stuff that start out on social media, and then you make these little things and you use apps on social media and vice versa. And I actually listened to like a podcast. It was a TED Talk, and it freaked me out a little bit that they were talking about an idea of eventually having votes being automated, so that you would have like algorithms where you would input all of your information, all of your main ideals. You would like get really into it with this information, but then not only that, you would like, they would be monitoring like your habits and what you're interested in, which really, if you think you're using any kind of technology right now and they're not doing that, guess what?
They're Trust me, Apple's listening to me right now. Like, it's fine.
But like But so they're saying they'll continue, like they'll do this. You would know that they were doing this and they were keeping track of all of these things. And it would be this algorithm that basically when it was time to vote on all these different little things, that instead of just voting for, I guess, a party, if you will, it would be everybody voting on all these little laws being passed instead. So it would be a new type of democracy, and it would be every little thing that was going to be passed would be based on your automated algorithms, unless you chose to go in and customize what you were voting for on certain things, because they said otherwise you can't possibly be physically able to like research and do all this stuff to pass all of the, like to vote for all of these laws being passed and things that need to be done, but that the algorithms could, based on your tendencies and your information and everything. And so it's just a TED talk. It's like a proposal, an idea, a theory, but I listened to it and I was like, man, that's scary. And like right now hearing that, I'd be like, God, no. But like, who knows what will happen in the future? And then what do you have to do when new technology is introduced? Once it's there and it's accepted, you basically have to figure out how to move forward with it, right? So it is a scary thing. So when you think of where it's like heading towards, there are so many different outcomes that we can't possibly even begin to think about. But really, who can tell what the future holds? I imagine that within a decade, even from now, that there'll be more information about how it affects people and their brains developing, kids and their brains developing, and how it like has, shaped like our society and everything as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think sort of going back to what you were saying, Braden, about, Wikipedia and stuff, the onus that's on us now, let's say our generation, whatever, to fact check is like astronomical. Like in the 1940s, whatever, they read something in the newspaper. I guarantee you the word fact check was not a thing. Like,
no, 100%.
You pick up the local newspaper for your 5 cents, you read what is written down. And people are going to be talking about it in your little town that you live in. And that's it. And it was accepted. And that was proper journalism. And now whatever's out there, we have to do the homework, is what I'm reading correct. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but that's a huge responsibility that is on us now with, the internet, social media, whatever you want to say.
Oh, totally. I almost feel like whenever I post like a post on like say on Facebook, if I ever want to say something controversial, I have to like link like almost like a paper for like university, like link my things. Yeah. That's
it's like you almost can't have an opinion because you can't, post what you went off of. Someone's gonna be like, well, that's actually wrong. And
but at the same time, I get that it's overwhelming and it's stressful, but at the same time, is it not right? Because like if you just want to have an opinion, but it's not an informed opinion. It's just like we were talking about with the whole politics and Trudeau thing. Back when people weren't aware of how things affected minorities and, like oppressed groups of people.
For sure.
But now we do know. So we do have the responsibility and duty to do better if we know. And especially in the age of technology, like, you have that access at your fingertips. You don't have to go to, libraries and look up books and pull them out and take them out for a week and read that. Like, you can literally read articles and do those things. So I get that, like, everybody has a first reaction to things, and it sucks if you don't want to put in the time to like look it up if it's real or whatever. But then if it sucks to you to do that, then maybe you don't have to voice the initial reaction if you feel like you're unsure if it's real or not. Right. If you think like, okay, well, and it's fine. It's fine if people do like voice that, like, hey, I heard this and like, I can't believe that. Then if somebody says, well, actually, that's not true. Well, don't be offended. I didn't know. Now I can go look that up if I want. Right. Good to hear it's not true. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I even like, I think I've even like I've been the victim of that, not a victim, I don't know what the word is, but like a culprit maybe. I feel like where I've like shared something on Facebook and then someone like went to go read it, like, oh, this is from like 2009, like it has nothing to do with it. I was like, oh, okay, delete. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along, like we had mentioned kind of before in one of the other previous podcasts, where I was like, I will read the headline, and I'm very guilty of this. I will read the headline and like not actually read the article. And that's my like, and that like forms my opinion versus like actually reading the article but like behind it. And I'm trying to be better at that.
Yeah. Those are, you know, honest mistakes, and people make like their first reaction. So there's nothing wrong with that, as long as like, if you do want to have a conversation and somebody's giving you information, then to like, if you want to go back and forth with that information, then, you know, you can read up if you want, if you're interested or whatever, or listen to their opinion and then adjust your opinion based on that and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with making a mistake and posting something that's wrong. Like everybody does that, right? Like everybody, even if it's not a post, like we're talking social media specifically, but even if it's not a post, if somebody tells you something and then you go and say something to somebody else and they're like, oh no, I heard it was this. Same thing. It's whatever. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. Now I might ask them about this or whatever.
Yeah,
totally. Which I guess kind of like going off of that a little bit with kind of like the controversy in regards to like the internet and stuff. What is like one thing on the internet right now that you could not live without?
I would just say,
just kidding.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding.
No offense to people who do watch porno. That's whatever. I just don't like. It's cool, whatever. But I would have to say, for me, it's just that information at your fingertips. Like I am somebody who does love social media, but I would be fine if I didn't have it. It would have a huge impact on, I think, my life. But I'd be fine. Information at my fingertips. However, I've never been somebody who could memorize things very well. I never memorized my multiplication tables. I always had to have a calculator, even now to today. Memorizing things. It just, I numbers and stuff like that, can't do it. So
yeah, Des just remembered my name finally this week. Just kidding.
But you know what I mean? Like,
hey, B.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, you know, phone numbers. Like, I don't know y'all's phone numbers. I don't know my mom's mom's phone number. Like, I know numbers from like when I was a kid, but you can't ask me anybody that I know currently and have their phone numbers. So information at my fingertips in that way, as well as just internet. Like if somebody says, oh, I'm going to meet you at this place. Okay, I have no idea where that is. I'll Google map it. Okay, I have a way there. Or again, if somebody tells me some information.
Still Google Maps to get to my house, by the way.
I don't anymore. Remember, I said it was my second time not Google mapping to your house. I am not good with directions and shit like that.
I get where you're coming from with that, and like I definitely like personally, like I do love social media. I can definitely get like lost in it. I love YouTube with a passion, but I kind of miss like regular, like I remember when I had my first flip phone, like you could do like nothing on it other than like text. And so I've kind of been wanting to almost get back to that. There's this company that's coming out, they're called I think it's Mutapure, I believe. They're a Kickstarter, and it literally is just like, it's like this nice like small little phone. You can text and do phone calls on it. I think you can do like maybe Facebook on it, but like it's not like this huge like smartphone. It's a really minimalistic phone, and I like love the idea of it because I'm very like, if you don't look at my desk, don't look at my desk right now, but normally I'm very like minimalistic, and it's like because I don't like to have like stuff, and like and so it's just like I don't know. When I look at my phone and I like see that I have all these apps, like I will sit there and I'm like, why do I have this? Like I haven't even touched this in forever. So I'll sit there and delete it. And then like a couple months later, I'll be like, oh, I wish I had this. I'll download it. Like I have Wizards Unite on my phone. Have I played Wizards Unite in like since it can't? No. I have geocaching on my phone. Have I gone geocaching? No. And so it's just like I have like these like stupid things on my phone that I don't even like it just bothers me. One thing I think the one thing I couldn't live like without, like the one thing I do love about like social media is staying connected with like family and friends. And but I like that to a certain extent, because I think if those people are truly your friends, you're going to talk to them regardless if you have social media or not. So I have a bit of like a mixed feeling in regards to that also, like particularly. So I don't know. The internet, I really like, I see those posts on like Facebook where it's like, oh, could you live here for $1 million? So like live here 1 month without social media for like $5 million or something like that. I'm like, heck yeah, I could.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like easy.
Yeah.
Give me a set of VHSs or DVDs and I'm a happy camper. You know,
yeah. No kidding. Get back down to earth.
Yeah, like I just like, mind you, it's in the middle of the woods, so I don't know. I'm not very woodsy. So like that'd be my problem. But I don't know. I just like I could totally do without it. Like I don't care.
The only one that I'm actually like not that I'm sure push come to shove, I'll live without it. I would be fine. But I do like Facebook a lot, more so than I think anything else. Like more so than Instagram, Snap, whatever, Twitter. I don't use Twitter.
Yeah, I've never used Twitter either.
You know,
I was super into Twitter at one point. Like I was, I don't know if you guys remember the girl group Girlicious. They had, I was like their Canadian like Twitter person. I dubbed myself their Canadian Twitter person, and I would like tweet
I think that was when I first met you. I think that was your Instagram
probably.
handle. Yeah, probably. I kind of remember that. That's super funny. That's so funny.
Yeah, they're the most underrated girl group of all time. So whatever. But like I was hardcore into Twitter at that time because like I would tweet tons of stuff about them. People would like follow me because of them. I didn't have a huge following, but like still, like I have Twitter right now, and like we have a Twitter for the podcast, and
I didn't know that.
I don't post anything on it, but I'm like I have it so that like we post like the new episodes and stuff on it, but like that's it. Like we don't really like I don't search on it. Like I don't know, like my parents use Twitter way more than I do. They're like, oh, I read this on Twitter today. I was like, you use Twitter? Like what? Yeah, so yeah, like I don't know. I could use without Twitter, but like I agree with you, Jen. Facebook is probably like my favorite of like the main social media platforms.
Yeah, hands down. For me too.
For me, what I like about it, like there's people that like I used to work with, and I see like what they're up to, and you know, for me, actually, kind of lame, but I like the recipes and stuff. Like, you know, I follow a whole bunch of recipe sites, and
I see your recipes when you cook them, and I'm like, Jen, I'm coming over. Okay,
and that's it. You know, and it's kind of funny because like I know Pinterest has it, but Pinterest you have to go and look. Like go and say what you're looking for, whereas Facebook you just scroll and it's like, oh, I've never would have thought of that recipe, or that looks kind of neat. Maybe I'll give that a whirl. You know, huh?
They're listening to you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
but I mean, I like to see what's going on in people's lives. People that you know I might not interact with anymore, like I used to work with, like I said, or. You know, people that like I used to go to church with or whatever. I like to feel like I'm still a part of their lives, even though I might not see them. Obviously, people like you know, my best friends like Des and Kristen, and
we would see each other no matter what.
No matter what. Like I'm going to text you. I'm going to call you. I'm going to ask to come over, or I'm going to ask you to come over. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Even without social media, we are still, or even with social media too, it's not like it replaces that relationship. No. We still do those other things also. But in other cases, like Braden, like when you moved, if I didn't have social media, I wouldn't I feel like I wouldn't have felt as connected to you, right? Because I wouldn't have like seen what you're posting or talking about and like had an opportunity to jump into that conversation or check in with you. Because like you don't always, life gets really busy and you don't always think about everybody. There's, you know, and you to have a visual reminder and be like, oh, I miss you. Like, I'm going to send you a message or something. Or like, you know, even people that like I meet now. So, I mean, I love my mom groups and stuff like that. I feel like since Xander was born, they're like, they're a very important part of my life because they've supported me in a lot of different ways and all these things. But I'll meet some people sometimes, either in a mom group or maybe even just like, oh, I'm dropping off Xander to school and I met this mom, but we exchange our Facebooks or something or add each other on some kind of social media. I probably wouldn't have another reaction or another interaction with some of these people had I not had social media and continue to connect through social media. And some of those relationships aren't as deep or close as somebody like Braden or Jen, like, but they are still important in my life and they have affected me and the way that I look at things in the world. And so I do really love social media for all of those ways that I can connect to the people around me and also feel not only that I can relate to a lot of people, but that people can relate to me and that we can have banter back and forth about like different ideals, just like this podcast, right? I enjoy that. And I feel like I get a glimpse of different parts of myself that I may not have been aware of had I not had those interactions. So I do really enjoy social media for those things. And I think if I didn't have, say, Facebook or something like that, it would affect who I am today. And it would affect how I look at life and how I look at different situations. I would live, it would be fine, but it would be different. And some of those ways, would be taking away things that are benefiting me right now as well. But there are things that I'm sure I would benefit from not having social media as well.
Totally.
I think to follow up on that, the mom group thing, like what a lifesaver for me that has been, you know, both pregnancies, like just the advice, the venting, you know, getting to meet girls who are in your area and have a, you know, like from my first pregnancy, I have a group now of, there's the three of us. We all lived within proximity of each other. And I think all of our babies were born in a span of, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks. Like there was one girl, her daughter was born a week after Kaya. And then the other girl, her son was born, I think maybe like a month after Kaya or so. But we've established a good group, just the three of us, and we just talk all the time. We just message back and forth, you know, and even past the baby stage, you know, like first of all, there's mat leave, which is it can be a very lonely time. So to have established those relationships with other women who have babies the same age as you is awesome. Also during pregnancy, when you have maybe questions and whatever, and, you know, oh my gosh, has this happened to anybody or whatever? But then now into, you know, our kids are now toddlers and stuff, just to say like, oh my God, thank God someone else's kid is having a meltdown in Walmart, you know, because they didn't get a cookie or whatever. Yeah. It's just, you know, just to vent, just to have those commonalities. It's wonderful. Like that, I think, has been the biggest blessing out of social media for me, is to have met other moms and, you know, people that share and even just let you vent about your day.
Yeah. And I feel like it also gives you that empowerment and confidence to make connections outside of social media that way too, because you've now seen that you can connect to those people. And like when I was a kid, I used to be a very shy kid, and I came out of that as became an adult and everything, like a teenager into an adult. But I feel like after social media kind of hit, like not really right away, but especially in the last, I feel like at least the last 5 years, I've made so many connections because of it. And it has given me more confidence and empowerment to, outside of social media, maybe go up to somebody and give them a compliment or strike up a conversation. Like those mom groups are amazing in my life. But I remember like last year, I just had like a reminder on my Facebook. Of course, I love Facebook for that as well. But I just had a reminder about this day. I was like at the mall with my kids, and I was just sitting on the bench while they played. And this mom turned to me and just started kind of like asking me some questions about like, eventually, I don't want to like say too much about it, but eventually she was having like some issues like with postpartum, and she had nobody. She was like new to the country, I think, and or at least the city. And she didn't have a lot of people, and she felt like her doctor wasn't understanding her, and she needed support basically. Right. And I didn't know her from Boo, but I was like, you know what, like, here's my social media, like, here's like a mom group I'm part of. You know what, I'll get in touch with you. I was also part of like an actual mom group where you physically went to like a meeting with your baby and stuff. And she had a new baby. So I told her to come with me. They had some resources for her and stuff like that. And, you know, like, I don't know if I would have had the confidence to do that. I might have just like kind of thought it was weird that she was saying some of the things, and maybe I would have like tried to disconnect and, you know, take my kids and go or something. Right. But I didn't. I saw what I so often see in those social media groups, and I feel like it was a good thing that came out of it.
I'm a little jealous of that because like of like the mom groups that you guys are able to have because of that particular like bond. I don't really like, I'm not part of really any groups like on social media because like, I don't really know what I would have a group in regards to. You know, like
yeah.
Sure are like probably like LGBT like groups or something like that, but like I don't know, like
beyond that, just hobbies and stuff though. Like, because like I
have no hobbies.
It's not just like mom groups that I'm part of. I go like part of like just random things. Like there's like different like style. Like I don't know. I'm not punk per se, but like some things like you follow, and then they have little groups that are like offshoots of that, and you meet really cool people through them.
I've never like, the only thing that I'm in like groups in that like maybe like I'll actively chat in is like my cruise groups. like we have like for our particular sailing in November, we have like our own group and like of people that are actually going on that sailing, and so like we're trying to like organize. It's kind of fun that way because like we're trying to actually organize like let's all meet up. Let's all meet up and like have a drink together. Or
I need to learn more about this afterwards, because as a travel agent, that would be like phenomenal. Like I need to learn about that.
I actually think that Jen, you should give information to Jen, because I think she would actually be very down to check it out and see what they have to offer.
I will tell you the things, Jen.
Yeah.
But no, that's like the only thing. That's the only really thing that I'm like really involved in. It's kind of funny because like my parents are going on a separate cruise, and I like joined the groups like with them to be like, what are they doing? And
that's so fun. I love that.
It was actually really fun because even when they were on there, like they went on a cruise in May-ish time. I can't remember when it was exactly. But because I was part of their group, one of the people that was on the ship with them was actually uploading YouTube videos while they were on the cruise. And so like I like spotted them in a couple different YouTube videos. I was like, look, that's where they are. And I was like, that's so cool.
So fun. I love that.
Yeah. So like those are the only things that I'm really involved in. I really should look into like different groups a little bit more.
Even like local groups, like look up local groups. Like I'm, part of like some groups like foundations that I'm even part of, like You Can't Spoil a Baby and stuff. You meet people who are like-minded to you, and that you can have conversations and stuff like that. And they're local, so you can actually meet up with them and do some of those things that you're enjoying, that they enjoy as well. Look that kind of stuff up, local stuff where you can meet people and meet up.
Yeah, that's my huge, like a huge thing for me. Cause like right now, like I know my parents and some of the little old ladies that I go swimming with and stuff, and like that's about it. Like I don't know people, and like that's even when I lived in Kelowna, like it was tough for me because I didn't know people outside of like work, and then I started working from home and whatnot, right? So like it's tough. It's definitely, I find it a lot harder to like meet people now, especially because I do work from home. It's really like people and whatnot. So like I want to see, I think it'd be like an interesting experience to see how I can use like social media to try and like build that within my life now.
Yeah. And I kind of find sort of to like the opposite of what you were saying, Des. It's kind of funny that you say that because I feel like it's so hard to just meet people regularly. Like for this mom that was sitting in the play area, that sounds so foreign to me now. But in a mom group setting, I would be like, yes, girl, like I'll help. I'll, whatever you need. Here's this link. Here's that link, whatever. I have to say though, I don't know how I would react if that would be in person. I might be like, you're just telling me this as a complete stranger? Like, who are you?
But I felt like I felt like at that place, because it was a place, it was like a play place in the mall, right? So right. It is parents. So it is kind of a setting
for
which
sure.
Maybe social media has trained me in that way to now look at this setting as like a group, like how you would on social media. So I felt in that moment that I was among my peers and she was a peer who needed support.
Yeah. I guess I just feel like social media has done the opposite effect to me, where I feel like maybe I'm more introvert now, where to me the reaction or the interactions are more acceptable online than in person almost. And it's I don't want to feel that way. I wish I was more open to just in general contact. But like for you, Braden, would you feel like if you're at the gym or something, would you just go up and chat with somebody?
Hard no.
Probably not.
Even now, like sometimes like before class I'll go and like sit in the hot tub, or sometimes after class, depending like the day, I'll sit in the hot tub before or after like the class. And so like there are people that will come in, at least people in it, and people will come in after I've been in it, and like I'll just sit there quietly and I'll be like, oh, hi. Like, and like, just like a shy little Braden in the corner. And then like, they'll randomly start talking about like stuff and they're like, and whatever.
Right.
But like even the other day, sitting in the hot tub after a class on Monday, and this girl, she was in the hot tub and she literally comes up to me. She's like, we're going to befriend you. She's like, what's your name? And I was like, Braden, hi. It was really like awkward, but like I would never do that. Right. Like
But so then if there was a Facebook group for your gym that you could join and like get to talking to people, you'd probably do that, right?
100, right?
That's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then you would just talk to people. And be like, oh my God, I'm in that class too. Let's do Aquafit together. Hey. Right?
Let's do our little circles.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's made me revert almost in a sense, where I feel like online interaction is more acceptable than face-to-face interaction.
I can totally relate in some ways. Like I definitely feel like for me personally, I'm more empowered to make connections now, but if you ask me to phone somebody and have an interaction over the phone,
I know
I have such anxiety now. But I was one of those teenagers that my mom would scream to get off the phone because I was on the phone, like literally like probably watching TV with my friends, but on the phone with them. So I could like talk about, like I was always on the phone, but now my husband, my poor husband has to like make all of the calls. If I don't have to make the call personally, I will give him the phone and be like, can you go do, I'll be right beside him and I'm not busy or anything. I'm just like, can you phone? I don't want to speak to a person on the phone.
Weirdo.
Like I just got a new doctor and I found out that after my first appointment next month.
You found out that you have to call and make appointments?
No, I don't have to call. I can like book it online, which I've never had. And I was like, holy God, this is the doctor for me.
Life changing.
Yeah. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Because that is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Hashtag awkward.
Yeah, no doubt. First world problems.
Yeah. Yes.
No, that's awesome. I don't know. My Lanta. But we should probably wrap things up here. I think. Yeah. Where are we getting here? Yeah, we're getting there. Cool. I don't know. I think it was a good chat. I liked it. It was fun.
As always, a pleasure, you guys.
I love being with you guys. This is fun. I was saying
maybe we'll do part 3.
What, sorry?
Said maybe we'll do a part 3.
Yeah. I was saying that the other, like last week when it ended, I was like, now what do I do with myself? That was so much fun.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming and listening. And thanks you again for being here today. And all the best wishes to Brandi. Hope she's feeling better.
Yeah.
Brandi, missed you.
Yeah, we love you. But yeah, make sure to double check to subscribe for our videos. Not videos. These are voice things, not videos. Podcast. That's what it is. And make sure to check out our website, the podcast, the trifectapodcast.com, and get your Amazon t-shirts because they are available.
Yes.
And
if you haven't seen my adorable kids wearing theirs, I posted pictures, so go look and then go buy.
They are to die for. I love them. They're so cute. But yeah, go buy a shirt. Again, all proceeds go to onwatch.org, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Of course.
Girl, she's ready.